Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, April 27th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So my name is Rob Liano. You hear a lot of people say, I don't have the time. And I read, and many of you may have heard this before, is we all have 24 hours in a day. It's the equalizer. It's the thing that makes us all equal, 24 hours within a day. So it's usually what you do with that time because everyone has the same amount. Steve Jobs had it, Benjamin Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, Bill Gates has it, Richard Branson has it, Tony Robbins. That's what everyone will agree upon. All the most successful people will agree upon that you have this 24 hours. It is really what you do with it. Time is more valuable than money. I think we could all agree with that because you can replace money, right? If you lose $100, you can go sell a policy and make the $100. If you let time go, you can't replace that time. It is gone. It is completely depleted, right? Can't go back, change anything. Only thing we can do is go forward and manage our time better. So since time is more valuable than money, it really should have more of an emphasis on what you are doing with it to capitalize on either working so that you're prosperous enough to enjoy it more, you provide for your family more, whatever it is that you really are yearning for that maybe you just feel like you don't have. The answer to it is probably what you're doing with your time. I'll give you an example of Lombardi time. If anyone doesn't know, Vince Lombardi is usually in the discussions for the best football coach of all time. Green Bay Packers, a couple of Super Bowls, all that stuff. I'm not going to get into that. But he operated on or taught his players and personnel to operate on what he called Lombardi time, which is show up for every important meeting 15 minutes ahead of the scheduled meeting time. As an example, I cannot get onto this call at 11 o'clock because I would have to load the PowerPoint, connect my microphone, make sure everything is working properly, and that would probably have us starting around now, 10 minutes later, right? It's like anything else. Getting there early has so many benefits to business as well as personally. And let's get into a couple of these things. It allows you time to prepare. And I'm going to give you a really good example of what I mean coming up after this because a lot of people don't really understand how valuable this component to your life could be. So it allows you time to prepare, meaning get ready, get your files ready, whether it's going to work or going to a meeting. It's always better to be prepared, right? So it allows you a little more time to prepare. It gives you time to exhale because let's say you're in some traffic. I live in New York, man, and the thing I need to do almost every time after driving into New York City or driving on this horrific Belt Parkway is I need time to decompress, man, because there's some stress or strain or challenges involved in those things. So let's say you work from home and you have kids, you got to get them up to school, get their food packed, whatever it is you're doing. You kind of need that time to just exhale so that you can now refocus on your tasks. And your tasks are important because selling is really what brings in the money, right? So you need to focus on a task, be able to prepare, exhale, chill a little bit, get ready, and gives you time to double check things. Like I said, coming into this, I'm able to load the PowerPoint, do a little brief run through to make sure I have all the slides correctly and make sure everything's working, like the audio. Even though I had that problem last week, I'm now getting in earlier to make sure I don't have that problem and being able to back that up by going to my laptop if necessary to run these sessions in the future so that we won't miss one. So it gives you time to double check things, make sure you have everything in order, you have all your documents, whatever it is you need, you have all your files set up, you have all your clients in front of you that you need to call, whatever it is, you got time to double check. And this is the ultimate one, whether it's personal or business. You have less stress because now you're really prepared. You know what happens when we're running late? We speed in our car because we're stressed out. We're running late because we didn't manage our time properly. So we can end up stressed out, and that can alter our entire day. It really can. You can wind up late one place. It's like an airplane is a great example. Last week, I was supposed to fly out. My flight was at, I think, 8:40. I got an update. It was delayed till 10:15. And then another update, 11:45. Another update, 1:08 in the morning. And that's when we decided to bag the flight, and I'm coming today, right? It didn't actually go out till 2:15 because what happens is it's late on one leg, and it just becomes later and later. That's what we could do to our entire day. And then we look back and, wow, I didn't get anything accomplished. Whereas if we put that cushion of 15 minutes in the front, it really makes a significant difference in everything, your momentum, your stress level, your time to prepare, and just to be ready to rock it. I want to give you this example of a lot of people used to ask when I worked in a call center, how come there's a certain amount of people that sell more every day? And then there are others that don't. And I said, well, what time do you get in the morning? And they'd say, well, 9 o'clock. And what's the first thing you do? And they would say, oh, I get coffee and a bagel, and I read the paper. So they're not actually starting to work till like 9:30. When the top producers were in at like 8:15 or 8:20, they got their coffee, bagel, ate, and were on the phones by the time 8:45 or 9 rolled around. I would say, what do you do for lunch? And they'll say, oh, we go to the all-you-can-eat buffet, the Chinese place up the block. It's great, $9.95, and you can stuff your face. And they do that for an hour, where the other salespeople would not do that. And then the other last component was, what time do you leave? Well, 5 o'clock, because I'm going to be in rush hour traffic. It takes an hour and 20 minutes to get home, and then, I want to see the episode of whatever, Big Bang Theory, right? And the most successful salespeople stayed longer, because why wait for an hour and 20 minutes in rush hour traffic when you could work that hour and then your ride home is only a half hour? It was how you were really working out and managing your time and prioritizing it. So in order to really explode your business, you need to look at it as like, I need to manage my time, show up early, show up prepared, et cetera, et cetera. Here's where it's really important. If you're new at this, it may take you 8 hours to make one sale when you're first starting out, because you're new. You're just learning the products. You're just understanding the systems. Whereas 3 months in, 6 months in, you won't have to work 8 hours to get one sale. You may be able to do it in 4. You might get 3 sales in 6 hours, depending on, of course, your plan and your goals, whether you're full-time, part-time. All these things are factors. But the fact is, the longer you go and move along, the better you get at it, and the less time you have to invest in it. In fact, if you invest a lot to get a little in the beginning, then what happens is you add a little to a little to a little, and it eventually becomes a lot. Meaning you're adding this component, right? Your health insurance, and you're going to sell the accident plan. And then you're going to add this component, meaning I'm going to be a little more savvy on the internet so I can work faster. So it's all of these little components that eventually add up to becoming a lot, but it is only a matter of you investing your time properly. And what happens is what I call the snowball. This is the best part. You will eventually be able to put the same amount of effort in time-wise, but it's going to yield greater results, because this is what happens. You start to have your one-call closes on the phone or in face-to-face, right? Meaning you go there, close the sale. That's going to happen on a consistent enough basis when you really have a sharpened skill set. Second thing that occurs is you will start to have qualified appointments, meaning you're going to call people back Thursday at 3 in the afternoon so that they can sign up. Next thing is people calling you back. I had one person call me back a year later saying, hey, we spoke about insurance. I'm ready to go. I had no idea who they were, what the quotes were, had to rerun it, but they were ready to go, and I wrote the policy. So you'll have people calling you back, and then, of course, one of the most important factors is referrals. You'll be able to start to gain referrals from your existing client base. So all of this will happen while you're still inputting the same amount of effort. So it starts to snowball or blossom and bloom over time, as long as you stay committed to it and invest the time up front. Now, I'm going to give you one really big tip about how to manage your time and increase your sales. One extra phone call per day is 250 phone calls per year. And I used to do this before I left my office. Before I'm packing up, I go, let me make one more phone call. And I can't tell you how many times, boom, get somebody on the phone. I've often told the story, I missed dates I was supposed to go on because I wound up sitting there writing a policy and didn't leave work. But 250 additional phone calls per year will absolutely position you to sell more and create more opportunities. And don't forget that one extra sale brings with it cross-sales, referrals, repeat business, all of these things that are so valuable and go above and beyond the worth of the one sale. And of course, that's with 2 weeks vacation. If you don't take vacation, you'd have 260 phone calls per year working a 5-day week. That's a really big bonus tip right there, is just before you leave for the end of the day, make that one more phone call. Plant that seed. You may be the one agent that does that and calls that client and gets that sale. You may hit the right person at the right time, because that's important as well. So that's all a part of managing your time, building your career, setting your schedule, and working the system instead of having the system work you. Quote of the week, it's one of my favorite motivational speakers, Earl Nightingale. Don't be like the man who stands in front of the stove and says to it, give me heat, and then I'll add the wood. Because a lot of people in this day and age, for some reason, want stuff without putting anything into it. They want the reward without the effort. And it doesn't work that way. I don't know about where you live, but where I live, you have to pay first before you get gas. College, you have to pay up front before they let you go to school. And so everything is invest first, receive after. So invest your time properly, get the knowledge you need or the additional knowledge you need to go to the next level if you're already a little savvy at this, and your entire career will blossom and bloom.